Before I get started, I'd like to kindly ask that you hit the like button and please subscribe to the channel for more content just like this.
All I'm offering is the truth, nothing more.
So I brought this topic up on my weekly live stream, which is every Tuesday night at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, by the way, and some people were saying I should make a full-length video about it. I was hesitant initially because I know people are sensitive when it comes to the topic of spoilers. And to be clear, this video doesn't mean that I'm going to go around in all of my future videos and haphazardly ruin things for people.
Let's gut the freaking nerd.
Because I'm just not that type of person, I understand. But I think there is an interesting conversation to be had here. The reason that I'm bringing this up is that I came across this Life magazine from March 10th, 1972. This magazine was released 2 weeks before the release of The Godfather. Being a fan of that film and someone who collects memorabilia, this was a must-have for me. If for no other reason, it is a brilliant snapshot of the time that it was released in. Little did I know I would get an even bigger picture about the time period when I actually read the article.
That makes sense.
As I began to read, I realized very quickly that in 1972, when this film was released, spoilers were not a thing. This article actually gives away somewhat detailed descriptions of very pivotal moments in the movie, and it even has snapshots of those moments to back it all up. Like this caption that talks about the intricate plot to kill Sonny Corleone, complete with a picture of his bullet-ridden body. Another caption talks about the failed assassination attempt on Vito. And yet another talks about the Don dying peacefully in his garden and Michael taking over and killing all of his rivals. Jack, you were up for the role of Michael Corleone, weren't you?
You snotty little bastard.
I have no doubt in my mind that if something like this was printed in 2022 for a modern movie, that people would be losing their fucking minds. This article gives away pivotal deaths and character arcs that some people would think would ruin the movie, and possibly make them not even want to watch it.
I don't give a fuck.
But that's not what happened in 1972. The Godfather went on to be a critical and financial success. So obviously people still flocked to the theaters to watch this film. The reality to me is that yes, spoilers weren't a thing in 1972, but in the bigger picture, they also didn't matter. Nobody was really worried about what happens in the story. They just wanted to see how the epic saga played out.
Because it's all part of the plan.
Not to mention this was based on a book, so we can take that into consideration as well. And obviously not everyone read this Life magazine either. But I highly doubt that the people who did read it were actually discouraged by this and decided not to watch the movie. In fact, I would argue that these details probably made people want to see the movie even more. Because in that age of cinema, movies were not defined by how well they deliver instant gratification to the audience. Going to see a film wasn't necessarily about who dies, who shows up, or how it ends.
No shit.
It was about the journey. How does the masterful Francis Ford Coppola pull this off and tell a mobster story in such an operatic way? It's because back then it was about filmmaking. But now, it's not about filmmaking. It's about cameos, it's about Easter eggs, it's about references. It's all about flash over substance. And the fact is that if the film you are worried about relies on these things so heavily to entertain you, then maybe that film isn't as good as you think it is.
Man, I'm tired of being right.
You see, because in direct connection to the actual dumbing down of films, the audience reaction to those films is following suit. Modern movies just need a standard set of points that they have on a checklist to get a rise out of people. And for some reason, people have a much too personal connection to these movies. So if they can't experience these flashy moments all for themselves, then somehow it ruins their entire fucking life.
Why do you cry?
And that's just not healthy. It's not healthy for the audience, and it's not healthy for the film industry as a whole. We need to get back to finding creative ways of telling compelling stories that do not involve this film relying on these high point moments to sell itself. Think about this for a moment. If you take the cameos out of Spider-Man No Way Home, what exactly is there to still be excited about? And perhaps if the movie actually told a better story, they could have advertised the fact that Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield were in the film. And if it was 1970 1972, people would have just shown up to see how it all plays out.
Anybody care about what I want?
I do.
Shut up. Get out.
Instead, they rely on the theme park ride approach, and that to me makes a film instantly less rewatchable. The Godfather, on the other hand, was spoiled 2 weeks before its release. And this movie has been studied and analyzed for the past 50 years, and people are still finding things to talk about in regards to this movie. That, my friends, is the difference between cinema and just watching a movie.
Oh, you're right. And when you're right, you're right. And you're always right.
Because the reality is that if you're watching cinema, then spoilers should not matter. So let me know what you thought about all this in the comments down below. As always, please like, comment, share, subscribe to the channel. Hit that bell for notifications, and I'll see you next time right here on Real Shift. Thanks for watching. Peace out.
Y'all be cool. Nah.